Look out, ladies. Joe Biden has left the basement. That's right. He's on the loose. He escaped.
Joe Biden, he's the man with the Biden touch. A creepy touch.
Yes, the guy who was going to ride the 2020 election cycle out in his bunker basement, because after all, there's this invisible virus floating around in the air. And I'm not talking about COVID-19. No, nay. The virus of he can't seem to stop speaking without putting his foot into his mouth and getting in confrontations and sometimes even hostile exchanges with his own supporters at his own rally. So they wanted to keep him home. After all, it's dangerous out there. We don't want to expose people. But he has been so badly beaten up now in the polls and faced such backlash over his bungling. And first it was a denial that there were any riots going on. Why, these are just peaceful protesters. That's all they are. To then finally having to acknowledge that as cities go up in flames all over America, that the American people, they're kind of pissed about this. And they're laying the blame exactly where it needs to be blamed, at the feet of the Democratic Party, because they're the ones that have been fanning all this, referring to these people as the summer of love, and we don't want help from the president. We're just this is peaceful protesting. And the lying legacy corporate corrupt media has been saying the same thing till one day, why, Shazam, Batman, Don Lemonhead had an epiphany. This is not working out in the polling for Democrats. Joe, you've got to get out there and condemn it. And of course, what did they do? At that point, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, all of the DNC talking heads, which means the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media, CNN, PMSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, all started saying the same thing. This is all happening on Trump's watch. This is all happening on Trump's watch. Well, he had to get out. He's been getting advice like, Joe, don't concede. Why would you tell someone not to concede if they're going to win an election? You tell someone not to concede when they've lost.
Joe Biden should not concede under any circumstances, because I think this is going to drag out, and eventually I do believe he will win if we don't give an inch.
Nancy Botox Pelosi said, Joe, don't debate.
Since you asked about that, I myself, just don't tell anybody I told you this, especially don't tell Joe Biden. I don't think that there should be any debates. I wouldn't legitimize a conversation with him, nor a debate in terms of the presidency of the United States. So if Joe Biden asked you what I thought about it, I don't think that he should dignify that conversation.
You don't tell someone not to debate if you know that they are articulate, sharp on their feet, can absolutely annihilate the individual that they are going to be debating. And this whole business, Donald Trump is not honest. Well, then, isn't that your opportunity to show, compare, contrast, let the American people see your integrity? The reason you don't want them to debate, you know that Donald Trump, number one, will mop up the floor with him, and number two, Joe cannot hold a cognitive thought together for more than about 5 minutes. Case in point, he escaped his bunker and he went to Pennsylvania to have a town hall. And again, it doesn't matter where he has any of these so-called town halls, whether they're in his basement, whether they're 5 minutes down the street in an empty park pavilion, whether it's in Pennsylvania. They want the photo op of him getting on a plane and the photo op of him getting off. But every place he goes, it's amazing. The background looks exactly the same. And there's only about a dozen people there and a few reporters, and he would answer no questions. He can't handle spontaneous off the cuff, which means he's not going to debate. But at this Pennsylvania town hall, whatever it is you want to call it, he started in on, there's a difference between protesting and rioting, and the rioting has got to stop. The violence has got to stop. And it's all Donald Trump's fault. And then he just had to go there. He was going to start quoting statistics.
If Donald Trump wants to ask the question, who will keep you safer as president? Let's answer that question. First, some simple facts. When I was vice president, violent crime fell 15% in this country. We did it without chaos and disorder. And yes, we did it with Democratic mayors in most of the major cities in this country. The murder rate now is up 26%.
Well, we're going to do a little fact-checking there, Joe, something that the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media won't do, or they will fact-check it in your favor. I simply went to the FBI website, and Joe Biden is correct. Violent crime statistics were going down during the Obama years, and they were also going up. Let me explain. There was an overall drop in violent crime, but it wasn't because of President Obama and the White Shadow, his VP Joe Biden. No, nay. There is actually a 51% overall drop in violent crime in this country that started in 1993, right up until 2018. So it predates Obama, Biden, and it even went into the Trump years. An overall 51% steady decline, except there was a brief moment, a 2-year period, where it increased. And again, this is from the FBI. Violent crime went up between 2014 and 2016. Now, violent crime includes offenses such as rape, robbery, assault, not just murder. And one of the things that the Barackmas Obama's administration got caught doing, which we call juking the stats, is when you want to appear that, crime is getting overall better, etc., etc., what you do is you start changing the definitions and you start changing penalties. But then Joe had to go on and say, well, hey now, violent crime is up 26% under this president this year. No, it's not. In fact, the FBI said, no, we don't have any stats for this year. Bum. First of all, this year's not over yet. Second of all, it doesn't work like that. We don't really have all the stats in yet for 2019. It takes over a year to compile all of the stats for the previous year. So by the time 2020 comes to an end, they should just about have all the stats ready to show us what went on in 2019. And as far as things being up right now, well, in selected places there are. Where all of the rioting and the protesting is going on. What are those again? Yeah, Democratic-held cities where they haven't allowed the president to come in and help. By the way, the murder rate was going up even before some of this rioting and this so-called peaceful protest under the Summer of Love began in a lot of these Democratic cities. It was in these Democratic cities like New York and out on the left coast that they did away with bail. Police officers arrest people and immediately they're right back out on the streets. They don't have to have a bail hearing. And so now we're seeing violent crime up. Oh, and by the way, when the whole COVID pandemic hit, what was it that liberal politicians were screaming? Oh, these prisoners in jail are going to die from corona. We're humanitarian and all. We got to let them out. So what are they doing? They're roaming the streets and killing people. Really? Again, Joe, I don't know who is advising you that your plan of attack / defense during this summer of non-love and total, complete, unabashed violence is to lay this at the feet of the president who is for law and order? The president who has received the endorsement of the New York City police? You stop and think about this. There's over what, 60,000 plus police officers in New York City alone. Then add on top of that the police and the other municipalities and townships across New York, state police, local police, county sheriffs, etc., etc., etc. They understand that right now, even some of them who are Democrats understand that they got big targets painted on them, and that the Democratic Party as a whole, to appease these wild, radical libloons, are making police targets, talking about we need to defund them, we need to disband them, we need to just absolutely break it up. This is not just talking now about doing some retraining. No, nay. This is about just giving in to a radical, foaming at the mouth, rabid base. So who do you think the police are going to vote for? I've said it before, and we'll say it again. Trump is going to take New York. You got 60,000 plus police officers in New York City alone. Add on top of that, wives, in-laws, immediate family. You know, people who are police officers, their families support them. Blue lives matter to them. How do you think they're going to vote? They're going to vote for the president who plays the blame game and pass the buck, and we got to defund and disband, and you guys are just poorly trained. You need to shoot to wound, not shoot to kill. And every time there's a, quote, high-profile incident, the police automatically become the immediate punching bag and are automatically presumed that they did something wrong. Who do you think even those rank-and-file registered Democratic police officers and their families are going to vote for this time around? Now multiply that by the 500,000 active duty law enforcement agencies across this entire country. Who do you think en masse they're going to vote for? But of course, Joe Biden being out on the loose, standing up there even with a teleprompter, he just can't help it. He can't hold it together. And he wanted to challenge the president. He keeps saying that you won't be safe in Joe Biden's America. Well, you won't be safe in his America. In fact, how safe do you feel with coronavirus?
Do you really feel safer under Donald Trump? COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives, when you think about it, more lives this year than any other year.
Am I the only one that... What did he just say?
Do you really feel safer under Donald Trump? COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives, when you think about it, more lives this year than any other year.
Yeah, I still haven't got a clue. 100 years! Most corona deaths in a corona year. What? What? You people that keep trying to tell us there's nothing wrong with Joe Biden mentally. I think there's now something wrong with you mentally. I think there's something wrong with Joe Biden's family. These people need to go to jail for elder abuse. Do you understand that the Joe Biden campaign is now reeling over the fact that he got to escape today? And not just that blunder, but he really walked into it over the whole, you talk about now the leftist progressives that are being told by Bernie Sanders, hey, I'm telling you, we got Joe just where we want him. He's going to enact all legislation, all policies. He will be the most liberal president ever. I've done him a favor, you know. A lot of these are Bernie people out on the streets, you know, creating this chaos. And once Joe Biden is elected, I'm going to tell the Bernie people, you know, calm down, let there be peace on the streets. That's going to make Joe look good. And then his payback for me making him look good is he's going to enact our policies. I'm telling you, this is the deal. Just trust me on this. He's supposed to be, you know, setting things up for the Green New Deal and AOC. And what did he say while he was in Pennsylvania, where they depend on and their economy has had a robust comeback under President Donald Trump for allowing, anybody in the room got the answer? Anybody? Fracking. Oil. Coal. And what did Biden promise today to all those people in Pittsburgh who weren't there to see him because they couldn't get in because we got COVID and social distancing, but he wants to be able to say on the television that he was in Pennsylvania today. He was in Pennsylvania today. What did he say about the big industry that has caused Pennsylvania to have a working economy again and an incredible financial comeback, i.e. fracking?
I am not banning fracking. Let me say that again. I am not banning fracking, no matter how many times Donald Trump lies about me.
I don't care how much Donald Trump lies about me. We will not end fracking. Oh, really?
We are going to get rid of fossil fuels.
Well, like, what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping new pipe?
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate.
No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. Ends. Number one.
3 consecutive American presidents have enjoyed stints of explosive economic growth due to a boom in oil and natural gas production. As president, would you be willing to sacrifice some of that growth, even knowing potentially that it could displace thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning to that greener economy?
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. No more, no new fracking.
You know, the fact checkers said that, well, Joe Biden has never actually said on his website that he would actually ban all fracking. So see, he was telling the truth. What about in those debates you just watched? What about in those campaign speeches where he said fossil fuel's gone, fracking's gone, we're done with this, it's gone, man, gone. You're gonna have to learn new skills. It's gone. Know what's gone, aside from Joe's mind, is Joe's campaign. You have to understand that though CNN and PMSNBC will cherry pick the parts of that speech they want you to hear, i.e., it's Donald Trump's fault we got violence in the streets, and they're going to loop that. People are going to watch the whole speech online. Other news outlets are going to pick it apart. People like me are going to show you what really happened at that town hall. Say it with me, boys and girls. Biden is over. Unless they cheat. And Democrats wouldn't do that, would they? Hey, that's it for this little rant. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give us a great big thumbs up and a like. Spread this on your social media platforms.